English language curriculum for the public school and high school in Ecuador. I choose the elementary basic general education. In this case, the curriculum supports general educational goals of justice, innovation, and solidarity by developing thinking, social, and creative skills in the context of language learning. These are the skills Ecuadorian learner will need to engage successfully in local and international communities in the 21st century. And for example, in this case, we have to develop some skills like global engagement to develop learning understanding of the world, of other cultures and their own, and to communicate their understanding and view to other through English. Some other skill is social and thinking skill to develop the personal, social, and intellectual skills needed to achieve their potential to participate productively in an increasingly globalized world that operates in English. And the last one is Foundation for Lifelong Learning to create a love of learning language starting at a young age in order to foster learning motivation to continue learning English throughout EGB and BGU as well as world and beyond by means of engaging and positive learning experience. The core principles in the curriculums we can mention, for example, to the communicative language approach. In this case, language is the best learning as mean to interact and communicate rather than as body of knowledge to be memorized. Content and language integrate learning. It could be a model used to integrate the learning of language with cultural and cognitive aspects of learning such that language acquisition serves as a driver for learning develops. Um, the other one is international standards. The curriculum is based on internationally recognized levels and process of teaching and learning language. The other one is thinking skills. In this case, learning English will support the development of thinking, social, and creative skills needed for lifelong learning and citizenship. And the last one, learning-centered approach. In this case, teaching methodology should reflect and respond to learning strengths and challenge and facilitate the process of learning by supporting learners' motivation for an engagement with learning. This is very important because we could performative aspect of language as a mean for engaging in purposeful communication, interaction, and making meaning. This is accomplished through a range of activities to support lively interaction, awakening learning's consciousness and abilities, and creating positive engagement to support intrinsic motivation to learn English for the students. And we have to conceive of the four C's through the integration of five curricular threads, and that is very important in the education and in the teaching and learning of this language. How English as a foreign language contributes to the exit profile of Ecuadorian high school students. In this case, the first one is development of life skill, job skill, and entrepreneurial skills. The second one is development of ethical conduct through the values of the honesty and integrity. And the last one is give learners a greater global understanding of the world we live in making them socially responsible global citizens. The EFL curriculum guides learners toward being able to communicate and learn through a foreign language, in this case English, by placing importance on clear oral expression according to international standards like the CEFR. That is very important for a student because they can use this knowledge to their own life and their own job and with their family too. In this case, the Ecuadorian high school exit profile aims to prepare Ecuadorian high school students for successful participation in a globalized, democratic society in the 21st century by focusing on the development of life skill, work skill, and entrepreneurship skills. And also, in doing so, the curriculum endorses the values of solidarity and justice too. Uh, it's very important because it's considered the lingua franca of the science and technology community, and being able to communicate in English open up access to not only current and relevant information and primary source, but also communication with people from around the world for students. And the oral communication, reading and writing curricular threads comprise specific skills that relate to the use of um, ACT to support and enhance the capacity for oral and written expressions along with other 21st century skills. Epistemological foundation and pedagogical response. The epistemological foundation of the EFL curriculum refers to how learners learn language and therefore how they should be taught. English as a foreign language and content language and integrate learning, communicated language teaching. It includes also resource, critical thinking skills, and it helps students to be. It should be taken into account that although learning are expected to reach a certain level of English when they graduate from education general basic media, in this case graduate from 7th EGB with an A2 level. And it's very important for students to get this level of English successfully. Also is very important side this previous knowledge forms the foundation upon which learning takes place and meaning in grounded. Knowledge and meanings are accessed, developed and expressed through language. Also, it includes the development of learning metacognition, of learning how to learn. Also, also is important because set clarification and make and express meanings in the language through learning refer to the high level of uh, what calls participate and what they can to do in their own space and their own environment. The higher the participation, interaction, and use of higher order thinking skill, the higher the quality of learning too. In this case, we had to say is that communication, cognition, content, culture, and cultural and intercultural understanding can help to um, what of communication can to help to develop this kind of skill, a language for learning how how communication could make a difference between cultures, between ideas, between people from around the world, and it can help to be students more successful in this way. The next point is curricular thread. The ELT area has been organized into 5 sections or threads. These threads are, for example, communication and cultural awareness, oral communication, in this case listening and speaking, reading, writing, and language through art that can help to develop the creativity of the students and make a and, and make part of the learning uh, with the imagination of the students too. Within each curricular subthread, clear and critical thinking skills will be distributed currently according to the learning outcomes, taking into account the way the suspect interconnects to make language development and acquisition possible. For example, in this case, we have to show a chart. The 5 threads can be divided into subthreads as shown in the following table. For example, we have cultural, citizen, communication, cognition, and control. These are the 4 C's, and we had in the second column curricular threads, and in the third column the subthread. For example, communication and cultural awareness has the subthread intercultural awareness and identify and social competence and values. The next one, oral communication, that includes listening and speaking, has the subthread listening skill, spoken production, spoken interaction. The next one, reading, has liberating rich environments, reading comprehension, use of resource and study skills, cross-curricular contents. The next one, writing, has the subthread initial literacy and text production. And the last one is language through the art, has the subthread literary text in context, creativity writing, and creativity thinking skills. We had here the next topic, profile of the Ecuadorian high school graduate and ideal citizen for 2015. Here we have the justice in the first point, and we had some objective that I think we can tell. For example, we understand the needs and strengths of our country and commit to building an equal, inclusive, and democratic society with justice. Our actions are carried out with ethics, generosity, integrity, coherence, and honesty in mind. We act with respect and responsibility both towards ourselves and others. For example, natures and the world of ideas. The last one, we accept and act on our strengths and weaknesses in order to become better humans being fulfill our life plan. The next point is innovation. We assume authentic leadership, are responsible and practical when making decisions and prepare ourselves to face the risk brought on by our actions. We are driven by intellectual curiosity, question both local and international realities, reflect on and apply our interdisciplinary knowledge to cope with problems in a collaborative and codependent manner. We can communicate in a clear manner in our own and other language. We use logical, complex, and critical thinking skill, and practice intellectual humility throughout our learning process in life. And the last point is solidarity. We take on social responsibility and have the ability to interact with heterogeneous group from an understanding, tolerant, and empathetic standpoint. We build our national identity in search of a peaceful world, and we value our multi-ethnicity and multicultural background. We look for harmony between the physical and the intellectual, and we adapt to the demands of working as a part of team, understanding to context and respecting the ideas and contributions of other persons. We have to tell in this case about the contribution of the English as a foreign language curriculum to elementary level. I choose the elementary levels to tell with the main role of the sub-level EGB elemental is to set the foundation for forming competent, autonomous and critical readers, speakers, writers, people who are able to use a range of tools in order to communicate ideas, learn, deepen and enrich their knowledge base. The teacher should be a guide in the classroom, and learners should be allowed to work from their own interests, able to explore topics and languages that arise naturally. The classroom should be as learner-centered as possible, therefore ensuring that learners learning and not teachers teaching is the focus of each lesson. And we had to try to change the methodology to ensure that the students could be the first or the principal actor in the process of teaching learning, and not as in years ago, like for example, the teacher were the principal actor in the class, and we have to change its methodology to ensure uh, to ensure that the learner will be able to create her own knowledge. The next point talked about curricular objective of the English as a foreign language area for elementary level. I'm not going to read all the objectives, but I can mention some of them. For example, in the first one, we have to talk about identify some main ideas and the style of writing text in order to develop an approach of critical inquiry to writing and oral text. And the other one could be assess and appreciate English as an international language, as well as the five aspects of English that contribute to communicate competence. And we had the other more objectives that are also very important for the curricular objective of the English as a foreign language in this area. Um, we had to we have to develop this objective and try to get this objective through all the school year with the students, and it's very important to identify what can the students do and what they can do. In the next part, we had performance criteria for English as a foreign language area for elementary level. In this case, we had a structure in a chart, and when we have the curricular thread and the number of the curricular thread. For example, the first one is communication and cultural awareness, and we have here two criteria. foresight something. And the first one, with the color blue, we had the mandatory we had the mandatory criteria, and we had in the color white the desirable criteria. Okay, in this case, the blue one are the criteria that we had to ensure that the students could get this ability, or these skills. And the other one, maybe the students could get it or maybe not. They are characterized by having obligatory and desirable criteria. Each curricular thread has its own performance criteria, and we could to have at least seven performance criteria or more. It's depend of the curricular thread. And in the last part, we had evaluation criteria for English as a foreign language in an elementary level. In this case, we have a other chart, and we had more aspect to see in this chart. For example, we had in the top, we had the methodological orientation for evaluation criteria. We had also in the next part the general EFE area objective being assessed. All these elements are connected, and all these elements um, interact each by each. And the next part, with the blue color, we had the skills and performance descriptors to be evaluated. In the next part, we had how the objective contributes to the exit profile. And in the last one, we had the indicators for the performance criteria. All these elements are related with the other topics that we talked before, and we have to center all in the what object can I get, what object I can evaluate in the students, what they can to do, what they don't uh, in the process of learning. And it's very important to see what is the methodological orientation for this evaluation criteria that we can use with the students. It's very important to evaluate, and it's very important to recognize what are the abilities or the skill that the student can develop through all this time. For example, in a school year, in an scholar year, and we had to work with this information. It can help to develop the skills or the ability for next years, and we had an idea of how much the students learn and how much they have to learn in the future. And it's very important to take it in consideration and always develop our class in base of this curriculum to make a good performance in a class. I think it is very important for all teacher and for all the person that are learning to teach English too. Thank you very much.